Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend.
Hello, everyone. It has been years since I last posted, and it's so good to be back. I've gone through a lot of life changes in this hiatus, gaining the courage to leave toxic and abusive relationships and workplaces. To be very honest, I've been in one of the worst depressive stupors of my life, just trying to navigate this whole healing process. One way I'm trying to cope is with bringing back the things I loved instead of putting them on the back burner like I used to do. And one of those things is wig styling and editing videos. I wasn't really sure what footage to put in this section, so please enjoy all of this royalty-free footage I found on the internet. While I work on new wigs right now, I'll be editing a lot of unused footage I did on unpaid time in the past. Those bases used in the old footage I don't really feel comfortable suggesting anymore, so I will be linking alternatives instead. Thank you guys so much for your understanding and support. I hope to create content that is of value to you and that will help you in all of your cosplay needs. I want to start off the new year with an Takamaki tutorial. She's a character that I deeply respect and admire, and perfectly emblematic of what I want 2020 to be about. I used a twin tail base with a wide skin part down the middle because An has a zigzag part, and I can't do my girl dirty by not adding it in there. But her zigzag part is also on the side, so we need to completely relocate the skin top. Boy! Well, I guess this is home improvement now, cause we're gutting this thing. I also removed some of the surrounding wefts to make room for where I'm going to eventually be gluing down the top. Yes, gluing! I'm not going to sew something that won't even be visible, so you hand sewing purists can eat my
redacted due to YouTube's terms of service.
After replacing the other wefts, we can see how perfectly the skin top will fit in. Look how lovely that side part is. And we're all done! Haha, just kidding, the suffering hasn't even started! The bangs naturally fall straight down on the wig, so to make them swoop to the side, I use a steam gun to heat set the fibers. And now, the zigzags. Part one direction at a time using a flat iron or steam gun to set the fibers in the direction you want them to be. I personally prefer the steam gun just for this because I can aim the heat in the entire area. And after just 5,000 years, we have a zigzag part. Thank goodness we've gotten past the hardest parts. Just kidding again, the suffering continues! Yeah, we have to redo the twin tails. Separate the hair in the front that you want as side bangs, and yes, I'm making side bangs even though she doesn't have any. They frame the face really nicely, and I have low self-esteem, so get off my back! The easiest way to keep your tail clean after you've gone through all the trouble of collecting the fibers neatly at the top is to use zip ties. The zip tie will keep the fibers from getting messy while you put in a rubber band. Once you've tied it enough times, just slip the zip tie right off. It took me years to think of this solution. I don't want you to suffer like I did. An's hair is a little bit wavy, so I'm going to show you a couple ways you can add in the curls. One way is to just steam the hair while bending it during the cool down period. Another way is to braid the fibers and then steam them. If you don't have a steam gun, you can also dip it into boiling water, but I really don't recommend it because I have burned myself several times doing it. I mean, I burn myself all the time because I use hot glue and I am just numb to the pain, but For you, I really don't recommend it. You can also just use an iron and shape it that way. For tighter ringlets, you can twist the fibers like this and run an iron over them. Personally, my favorite way is to use a steam gun over a PVC pipe and let the fibers cool around its shape. If you have a preferred method of adding waves, definitely use that. Aw, look at me, using gloves as if that will stop the burning. So cute. At the end, brush out the curls to be wavier and fix any misshapen ends. I added clip-on ponytail wefts to add more volume since An's hair is massive. Follow the same steps to make those fibers wavy as well. Now we can cut the bangs. I cut in an up-down motion to make sure the edges don't come out choppy. Start in small sections and work through the fibers little by little. I wanted my side bangs to cover part of my cheeks because I like that look, don't judge me. I separate every piece of the bang to make sure each individual piece falls exactly where it needs to before I even touch the hairspray. On a side note, I want to apologize for the whistling sort of sound whenever I make an S sound. It's really embarrassing, but I actually have really big front teeth, so I feel like Gopher from Winnie the Pooh every time I say an S sound. I've tried really hard to mitigate the effects after recording, but there's literally nothing I can do, so you're just gonna have to deal with my giant rabbit teeth and the... So, sorry. I started on the front bangs before I went to the side bangs, which I heat set to fall forwards with a steam gun. Then, everything gets hairsprayed down. This next part is completely optional, but I'm extra and this is my tutorial, so I'm including it. I spray the base of the tails, part of the side bangs, and the roots with a spray paint that is slightly darker than the color of the wig. Adding a little bit of gradient makes such a huge difference in the wig, and I will always add paint to a wig if I can. I had to color grade the footage because for whatever reason, it looked way more yellow on camera than in real life. But you need to trust me when I say that it actually looked good in real life. Trust me. Don't be afraid to experiment with spray paint, acrylic paint, dyes. Don't listen to the naysayers on Twitter. They have anime avatars, for God's sakes. Can you really say their opinions are valid at that point? Not to get on a soapbox or anything, but I really feel like cosplay is a way to express yourself. It's an art form. Be creative with it. In the past couple years, I started getting really disillusioned with the cosplay industry. I knew a lot of people whose goals were to become cosplay famous, and it just became such a reoccurring narrative that I started to lose sight of why I even really loved this in the beginning. Now, don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with building a following because of your craft. In fact, I absolutely encourage it. But when you hear so many things day in, day out, like, oh, when I'm cosplay famous, I will XYZ, or hey, I'm going to be in a shoot with so-and-so later, can you please do my wig for me so I can get clout too? It's just exhausting, and it really disheartened me. I felt like my passion for something that I truly loved was taken away from me, Something that I used to absolutely love doing was now a chore. After doing months of self-reflecting, I realized what I loved about this community and what I do and what I didn't. So I'm going to just be taking the time to focus on the things I do love. Again, absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to build a following, but I implore you to take a step back and think about why you might be pursuing something like that. What do you stand to gain from it? And what do you stand to lose? Making cosplay is such a wonderful hobby. If it's something that lights a fire in your soul, I want you to pursue it with all of your heart. But if it's causing you nothing but stress, your mental health is way more important. Okay, I feel like I've preached at you enough. I'll get off my soapbox now. And there she is. The love of my life, the apple of my eye, the keeper of my soul. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope this tutorial could help you out in any way. If you're interested in commissioning me for a wig, send me a DM on Instagram @LissyFishy. And if my account doesn't lock me out for the 7 millionth time, I'll reply with a quote. If you have any suggestions for who I should style next, please comment on what I should make. Seriously, I'm always looking for new things to style and challenge myself with. Happy New Year, everyone! I can't wait to see what 2020 will bring. It's probably gonna be but let's feign a positive outlook anyway.